Good evening, and welcome to episode 92 of Overdriven, the ODRL podcast. I am Click. I'll be your host for the evening. Mr. Metz will be joining us again next week, but I'll continue on hosting duties for the evening. We've got a slightly new, slightly old cast for tonight. Some new voices. As always, thank you, Polish and Hendrik, for joining us, gentlemen. How are you tonight?
Peachy.
Yeah, okay.
Not bad. We've got a returning voice upon request. Bren, how are you this evening?
How you guys doing, guys? What's up?
Yeah, excited to have Bren back around. And as a special guest pop in, we have DJ Win for this evening. DJ, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty great tonight.
Awesome. That is super cool to hear. Glad to have all of you guys here. And as always, thank you to Insolvable for joining us, creating this nice new layout for our overlay for the Overdriven podcast, and as well creating the overlay for last week's DNF Diary show. We do believe that that will be coming back on Friday, 8 o'clock. We are getting some new guests for Carrot and Cobra to have on the pod, talking about the wildcard race and some of the team moves we'll be touching on here as well. We are building this podcast network up with 3 shows through the gears every other week on Wednesday. Overdriven, which is our weekly Thursday night show, and DNF Diaries that will be around on our off weeks and special occasions when the drivers need to get some things off the chest. But we've got some exciting things to get to. 2 races in the wildcard round, some team announcements and team moves going into next season, and previewing the final round of the regular season for the trucks, and going to Iowa for our NXT and Premier Series. So let's jump right into Premier. Wildcard round was a very interesting race. A couple of different strategies playing out. I want to go to Bren first, being our resident Premier driver for the night. Give us the lowdown on the Premier race from your perspective. What are some things that you saw, and what stuck out to you?
My race as a whole, really pack heavy, lagged early on, so just kind of put me in traffic, and from there on out, it was, if you were 15th on back, I would say it was just basically a mini Daytona, which you look at a track like Nashville, you're like, this is supposed to be like an intermediate slash like short track kind of, and it was just a pack race. Up front, I think there was a lot of battles. Tire wear, right front, not burning up your right front. Unfortunately for me, in the pack, bump dressing, trying not to push. I think it was one of my teammates too hard. Unfortunately, Spartan got into me, spun me around. No caution. That basically ended my night. Got trapped a lap down. Overall, though, I think the track provides interesting racing. I don't think it's great. Early on, once it spreads out, pit stops actually really when pit stops happen, dude, that's the strategy. Nashville's fun with strategy. It's just at the start, restarts in general are just horrible because of the pack. I mean, you got 15 cars around you at all times. It's because of the draft. It's just insane. But I think Nashville's interesting track.
There were some interesting things happening in the very beginning. Like something that stuck out to me is when you look at the first pit stop cycle. It happened earlier than the halfway point of that stage. Most of the leaders pitted on lap 17. But throughout that first stint, you saw a different set of lines being run. There were a number of cars making the bottom work, or just burning those tires out quickly and having the speed there. Not until after that pit stop cycle did we see cars start to move up the track and run the quote unquote preferred line. DJ, you were also in the race, filling in the 47. What was your view of the race? Anything stick out to you? I know you were in some interesting scenarios as the race went
on. I thought the race, it was kind of like a mini Daytona. I think stage 1, I kind of ran the line that I had practiced, which was like arcing it into the corner. But once the setups got put on, there was one time in stage 2, I think I arced it and someone got to my outside, and I just got freight trained around the top and lost like 7 positions. And after that, I started running the top because I was like, well, I don't want someone getting on the outside. And that's kind of unfortunate because I think Nashville is a fun track, but it is like most racing, like most tracks in this game. I moved up the track so no one would get to my outside. But I think it was a fine race. there's not really much to say in the. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. There were some issues in stage 2 and stage 3, but yeah, I think I caught. There was one crash that happened from a. I got spun out and caused a big crash, and then
Yeah,
yeah,
actually, I noted that each of those two, like when you bring up stage two, the first caution didn't occur until stage two. Stage one for Premier side was completely clean. And then stage two, there were two back-to-back cautions. First one called on lap 14 of the second stage. We do our two pace laps to pit and choose. And then I think we only got one lap green and had another caution called on lap 19 in stage two there as well. So we saw a similar thing happen in stage three with two back-to-back cautions right off the restart, sort of like what Brent alluded to. Cars not quite filtering out and spreading out some. I think in rewatching some of the streams, there were times where cars were four wide coming through the tri-oval, and I think the incident you're alluding to that you were involved in was in the tri-oval, right?
I think someone in front of me got turned and they went down into the grass, and one of them came back up the track, and the two cars below me moved up the track to not run into them and hooked me, and then it just kind of unspiraled from there.
Yeah, Polish? I think I saw you chime in there. Did you happen to see which two cars those were?
Which two cars? What? I'm sorry, I did not chime
I
in.
think it was. I don't know what two cars spun. I think Iron Man was
clipped it.
one.
They clipped it somewhere because I know someone came up the track and just
I think
people had nowhere to go.
I think it was Iron Man was one of the cars and there was another car. And I think Iron Man might have came back up, and then I think it was Roe and Sterlu below
That sounds like
me.
something. That sounds like something Iron Man would do.
Polish, I'll jump over to you as a viewer of the race and things. Anything stick out to you? Anything that was very, very exciting in that race or interesting?
Well, the most exciting thing was Linecone winning. Honestly, stuck it to the playoff guys. Makes me happy. So congrats on him for winning. I'm pretty sure he's a solo car, is he not? I don't think he drives for a team. So
He's an affiliate.
he's an
of
I think
affiliate?
he's a sub now.
BRT. Is he?
I see. Well, I was trying to look through the point standings and
He's
I couldn't
full-time.
find him. I couldn't
he's
find him on the
full-time
point
now.
standings. I don't know if I'm tripping, but I couldn't find him on the point standings. I was trying to find him, but yeah, that was honestly the best part for me. Seems like the race was mainly dominated by Shocks. I think he won both stages. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know we won stage
That is
one.
correct.
So yeah, good on him. Got those stage points he needed to push himself further towards a possible championship run. Yeah, so congrats to both of them. They had good runs that they needed.
Yeah, completely agree. And I'll state it now. There was some scoffing when I picked Linecone as my dark horse last week. Linecone, thank you for proving me right, and congratulations on the win. But Shock had a very, very strong run in both of the first two stages. I think stage two, he had a large gap to even win that stage. So, strong performance from Shocks, who was my main pick, but, can't win them all. Just need to win with one of them. Hendrick fan, anything from the premier race that sticks out to you? Or, look at the playoff implications with this wildcard race, and two cars out now. We've got, I believe, Whelpdang and Llamas that are now out in the wildcard round.
Yeah, I'm a little bit shocked at Whelp being eliminated, as much as I hate to say it. I think a lot of people had him circled as one to move on. At the same time, I know it was a pretty contested group with those in that bubble race. Sean, of course, being one of those, and he obviously went through that race with flying colors. But I think at this point for Whelp, he's already planning for next season. They already made the announcement of him going to ILM next season. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do for his new team next season. But at least for the next few races, all he can do now at this point is end the season the way that everyone would want it to, and that's with a couple extra wins in their belt. It's still not too late to climb up in the point standings, if possible. But I think for him, the only thing he needs to focus on is just getting another win or two.
I would agree, and it is a shock to see Whelp out. He does have a win already this season. Would love to see him continue to perform strongly, and we'll be touching on those driver moves a bit later. Couple of heartbreakers in the race as a whole. I'll sound like a homer, but I think Stein made his way back up to the top three like 3 or 4 times in the race, and either through a driver calling him clear when he's not clear, or clearing himself, he ended up backwards a number of times. So that was a heartbreaker for sure. There are a couple of other really big movers. Lion Cone qualified in the 20s. I mean, he made his way through the field to get his win. NLS was another one making his way through the field the majority of the race. But like we had said, shout out to Shocks for the 2 stage wins. That certainly helps. Line Cone with a big win there. I believe he won earlier in the week in another league as well. So Line Cone just owns Nashville right now. So congratulations to them. Moving on to the NXT side of things, we've got plenty of folks in here that can talk about the NXT race. An interesting one. We also had stage 1 go green for us, which was great. Pretty much top lane dominant the entire race. Some were running the high to middle line for a bit and were able to make a little speed there. But if you weren't on the wall, you weren't making a lot of progress. We had 5 cautions total. Premier had 4 cautions total. We didn't see our caution until lap 21 of stage 2. So we made it almost all the way through, 17 of stage 2. We made it almost all the way through stage 2 before we saw a caution. I would like to go to Polish first for his view on the race. I know there was some struggle with teammates throughout it. What was your view of our Nashville race?
Overall, it's a good race. I mean, you can't really ask much more from a racing perspective and a racecraft perspective. I mean, yeah, there were a couple of dumb mistakes from some people who will not be named on this podcast. But it was a good stage one. Stage 1, like you said, went caution free. Stage 2, I believe, went about half the stage caution free. I could be wrong. Or something like that. And then stage 3 obviously was a bit more of like it really didn't get bad until like I would say the final 20 laps where people were like jostling for position and trying to get everything they could. So once the final 20 laps came, that's when the race kind of went down the tubes. But it still wasn't even a bad race. It was just, and obviously racecraft is a big thing in that league, and that's what Mets has been getting on us a lot. But you can't really fault guys for trying to get the best finish they can and just put everything out there. So I think the NXT guys had a really good showing at Nashville. As far as the teammates thing, yeah, obviously not the race personally I wanted, because I feel like I had a top 10 car and feel like I just kind of got screwed out of every turn, screwed at every turn. So, but it is what it is. We move on. But overall, very solid showing from the NXT guys.
I would agree. My viewpoint of the race, I got to see a lot of the field. We'll put it that way. And I remember thinking to myself, even in stage 1, as we were still on our fixed setups, that we're racing really well. Like, we set ourselves up for a really good evening of racing, which was exciting. I'm going to bounce to Hendrick fan next. Seeing that it was so contested to get the regular season championship. Now we've moved through the wild card round. We've got 2 strong drivers out. What do you think we look forward to at Iowa as far as performance goes? Do you think that the performances from Nashville and the racecraft that's been established now going into the playoffs is going to be something that continues when we visit a track that we've seen once before with this roster this season?
So going into the next round, obviously there's some things that are different. For example, a certain somebody in here who was looking like the regular season champion is starting the round off as the 6th seed. So it'll be interesting to see if he can get out of this hole after this first race of the next round, knowing that there isn't a lot of flexibility points-wise for him to work with. And same thing can go with Yeti, really. I mean, both the 54 and the 20 around the cut line. I didn't expect them to be there, but they are there right now. And I wouldn't give those top 3 guys in points, a lot of, room to work with in points. Those are guys that I could see easily making it to the final 4. So I'm looking around that playoff grid. It's mostly Toyotas. So I'm curious to see how they encounter this round and how they encounter each other on the track. If there's going to be a little bit more strict passes between those four, or if they're able to come up with a plan to where they can try to put them all into that next round.
I would agree with you. And just checking back on the results from that race earlier this season, the two cars you mentioned, even though one driver is no longer in the car they were in at that time, they finished 5 and 6. Which, if you take out the premier drivers from that round, that's not a 5 and 6. That's a 3 and 4. So they're strong drivers around Iowa. Obviously, some different things this time around, but it could be very interesting to go either way. Bren, I want to come to you next. With the premier drivers not being in this round at Iowa, do you think there's anybody that will stand out more? We had Copper and Sales more or less leading a lot of the field around for that, with the exception of a stage or two. How will taking the premier drivers out of that race affect the NXT's racing ability and the race they may have coming up?
I think it will make it more varied. We won't have the two guys that like as you can see lately, Ironman's on a roll right now, and I don't think that stops at Iowa. He actually finished third to those two the last time we came to Iowa, so that's a preview for that race. But I think it actually makes the racing better for at least the playoffs, because you have the guys fighting for the playoffs. Obviously, they're going to be competing at a high level, racing clean and stuff. But you also have the NXT guys having a better opportunity. Even if you're not in the playoffs now, you have a better opportunity to win because you don't have to deal with premier guys just coming in and smurfing. That's something that a lot of guys, they saw the premier guys come down and like they're going to basically almost win the race. But it's good competition as well. But I think the racing's going to get more intense. I also think they're going to learn a lot better. Premier guys, they're very clean, but they don't run these cars that often, so it takes them a little bit to get adjusted. So you see a little bit more mistakes out of them compared to the NXT guys because they run these cars every week. So that's something that I'm going to be looking forward to. I think it's going to be highly contested. It's going to be a fun watch. I'll just say that much. Iowa's a good track. It's raceable. It is a bottom dominant track, but you can make the top work. I'm interested to see how everyone adapts, especially without those two in the field. I think it's going to become more spread out and actually good battle for the win. Can't wait to watch.
Yep, absolutely agree. And there's always three premier drivers that can come down and bushwhack in a lower series, and we're not speaking of one of them, and that's for a good reason. The 48 car that was driven by Tyreek was nicknamed a bulldozer in that race, and that's sort of your point that those drivers don't run our cars too often. So without him around, we'll be more familiar with the cars around us. I think there will be a more even level of expectation of the driving standards around, and I think it will be very, very exciting. DJ, I wanted to save you to last, and I'm gonna touch on this topic very carefully. You were involved in an incident late in the race. Really hurt your playoff positioning, along with some other drivers. We know that the driver that caused that incident did receive probation for the incident that occurred. With how much talk we've had recently about how stringently the NXT series has been adjudicated and how penalties have been given out, rather than suggest a different penalty or what have you, can you walk me through what happened to you in that incident and whether or not you think the penalty is justified or if another route should have been taken?
So I guess we'll talk about the incident. I think it was lap 92. I was running second, and a car was trying to pass me on the inside, and they thought they were clear and tried to get in behind me and hooked me, which then I didn't come back up into the track, but that led into a crash into turn one, which took out, I think, almost every playoff driver besides maybe two. I think Yeti and maybe T-Stone were the only two who got through that turn one crash cleanly. But I knew a penalty to me, I guess, didn't really matter at the end of the day because what happened wasn't going to change what happened to me, whatever the penalty might have been. And I also knew it was their first incident of the season, from my knowledge. So I knew the penalty wasn't going to be harsh, anyways. So that also, to me, just felt like I didn't really care what the penalty was because in the day, I still got eliminated from the playoffs. Even if a penalty was harsher, it doesn't change what the playoff standing says. So the penalty, I guess, didn't really matter so much to me.
I think that's a very fair assessment, and I know there was some talk in the paddock over the week, and some folks had asked my opinion of it, and that was sort of my response, and it was prefaced with, I know this is not what you'd like to hear at the moment, but there's some precedent set last season in Premier where a non-playoff driver had an incident late in a race, late in the playoffs that did affect playoff drivers, and the easy explanation was that driver's still racing for a win. It was one of the first incidents that sort of set the precedent for how this may be looked at. And I agree with your assessment. I think that's a very mature assessment of what happened. Whether there's a penalty or not, no matter how harsh or how tame it is, it doesn't change the point standings, which
I
is
will
incredibly unfortunate because you had a very strong season and are very deserving to still be in the playoffs.
I will say,
But go ahead.
even a week, this isn't like a week, because I think even when I was talking about it that night, I also said even that night that a penalty didn't matter to me, even after it happened, because I was like, it doesn't change what happened to me. So this was something I already had prefaced Sunday night, that a penalty didn't really matter, whatever it might have been, if there even was one. I didn't really, it wasn't going to change anything to me, so I didn't really care about that as much as probably some other people who were more vocal about what the penalty was, where I was like, it doesn't change anything for me. Whether it's a harsher penalty or no penalty, I'm still eliminated either way.
Oh, right. And um, for some of those folks that were speaking strongly about it, if you go back through the races that the driver has run at NXT, he has been rather consistent getting stage points. He has had some, I would say, he's been rather consistent with top tens as well after his first couple races in NXT. So a lot of different angles to look at with that. Obviously, there has been a penalty applied to that driver, so that'll be something that obviously
Probation.
the admins will look at going forward. But wanted to get your opinion on that, and again, it is heartbreaking that is what caused you to be out of the playoffs in this round.
I do actually want to say one thing is I actually feel more bad for Banjo than I do
Yeah.
myself, because
Terrible.
Banjo had it the best race you probably could have. I think he got second in stage 1, 5th in stage 2. He was, I think, running in the top 10 when that crash into stage 1 happened. And I think he ended up missing out by 2 points.
2 points.
So I feel more. I know even if I finished second, there was no way I would have. I couldn't guarantee a advance because of the way the stages played out. So, but like Banjo had he just needed to not finish like 25th or worst, and he did. That crash caused him to finish, I think, the last car on the lead lap because of it. So I feel more bad for him than I even do myself, because he had an absolutely best race he could have, and basically needed to just not finish the last car on the lead lap.
Not to mention the lore actually goes deeper than that, because that was like the third week in a row he got wrecked in like the last 2 laps. So
Yeah.
the lore goes deeper
Like,
than
It was
that for
me
Banjo.
2 of those times. I feel
He's
so
had
bad.
some, so even though like it is me, I had my issues. I feel more worse for Banjo than I do myself, because he actually had like the best race you could. Like he did everything he needed to put himself in there, and then that crash happened, and it took him out of making it through.
Absolutely agreed. Just to touch on the race as a whole a bit more, T-Stone did get the stage 1 win. He's had a strong run thus far in the season from about the middle on to our playoffs here. So shout out to T-Stone for the stage 1 win. We had Almighty with a stage 2 win. So shout out to him trying to rack up his points. And like we said earlier, Iron Man is heating up again. Whoever made the allegations of Iron Man being washed needs to be put in the stockades
I told
because
you.
he's on a heater
I
right
told
now.
you he wasn't washed.
Yeah. And Mets did have the pick of Iron Man to win, so he does win the pick him for NXT there. I just want to shout him out in the chat with us. He has said both that he loved the racing he saw from Premiere, thought it was a great race, and he says much respect to you, DJ, for your mature take on what happened at the end of that race. Like we said, 5 cautions in total. I know it sometimes seems like more chaos because there's less laps, but as many of us have echoed here, the racecraft is improving, or it is showing more in these races. We'll have certainly a challenge at Iowa with a short track that doesn't race like a short track. So I know I'm looking forward to that race. It's going to have a lot of implications in this next round of the playoffs. But that sort of wraps up our racing takes for the week. What we need to look at a bit more is all of the announcements from teams of who they will be signing and who will be driving for whom going into the next season when we do get NASCAR 26 coming out. I want to start by probably talking with Polish because ILM has been very busy, very, very, very busy. They were the first ones to announce their premier roster. They do get Extreme Shocks and Welpdang to come over from TBR to join with Tyreek and Cobra and Carrot. So with the new rules, if you have an alliance with another team, you don't get to use that 5th car. They have announced 5 drivers, so it may appear like they won't have an alliance for the next season. But Polish, what is your take on the premier roster? How do you think that this will fare for them? Are we already lining up for another ILM team championship?
I mean, I don't want to be biased. Obviously, I have an ILM.
I mean, I came to you for a reason, so go glaze away, my friend.
But holy crap! Like I love this. I love this lineup for ILM and Premier. You got Extreme Shocks, proven championship contender. You got Carrot, who is a proven winner on his day. You got Welpdang, playoff driver. You got Cobra, who is a championship contender, and you got Tyreek, who can also be a winner, like a championship contender if he actually races. So, I mean, you got 5 playoff caliber drivers at the. This is literally Roush Racing in the 2000s when they had like that lineup of like Edwards, Biffle, Kenseth, that lineup, Martin. This is that. And I absolutely love it for ILM. I think this is a great premier roster, and I think they are definitely going to be the team to beat next year.
It's scary. It is scary. But I mean, great job by Iron Man for putting the team together. I think they will work really well together as a team, which I know last week when we had Iron Man on, we asked him about what he's looking for. And the one thing he said was chemistry. He's looking for chemistry when he's building a team. And I think that premier roster will have great chemistry together, which is a very dangerous thing. Moving to
I want
the
to jump
next
in
team
on
that
that
has...
real quick.
Oh, go ahead. Yes.
I think Iron Man knew what he was doing because I think he knew when he picked Hendrick that Shocks was going to chase that 5 car. Shocks was going to chase the 5 car on whoever got Hendrick as a team. So I think he knew what he was doing there and getting Shocks.
Big brain.
He knew Shocks wanted that 5
Jock's
car.
probably told him to pick Hendrick.
Probably.
Definitely not Cobra complaining in team owner chat about JGR.
What? Why would we say anything of the sort? That's nonsense.
Exactly. It's nonsense. He would never say that.
Nonsense, he says.
Moving to the next big premier team, at least with graphics, I am going to cycle back on some of the other teams that made earlier announcements. But the next team that announced their full premier roster was TBR, having Stein return in the 77, having had return in the 71, and then 2 maybe unexpected, maybe surprised signings with NLS coming over to TBR and LXTX7 moving up from NXT and becoming a premier driver for TBR. Hendrick, I want to get your thoughts on both the move of NLS to TBR and the promotion of LX to Premier. How does this bode for Stein and TBR next season?
Well, for starters, I think the other elephant that needed to be addressed was where Tata Head was going to be in the future. There's been a lot of talk about him not being in Premier next season just because of his decisions. But having that, be a part of his team next season, to show that, Stein didn't have to worry too much about his team next season. But NLS, I like that move, getting him over to that team. When NLS is there every single week, he has proven to be a playoff contender, including in NXT last season, where he brought himself into the championship four after missing a good chunk of the start of the season last time. And then LX, he was one of the top guys in NXT and still is. So I'm not shocked by that decision to just bring him up to Premier. I would think for Stein, I think LX is a multi-year plan just so he can get his feet wet in Premier this season and then see what he does the following season. But I do like the move of NLS. I think he will be a good piece for TBR. And I do think that Stein and Tata, they will be contenders to make the playoffs next season.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think most folks would look at TBR as a whole right now with Shocks and not Tata Head, I'm sorry, Shocks and Whelpdang leaving, that we might be entering more of a rebuilding phase as a team. And while that may be true, that does not mean that the team will not perform well in each of the series, will not have many opportunities for wins up and down the roster. I'm excited to see Alex get a chance on the Premier side of things. And fun fact, this was actually brought up by NLS. He's got more wins in a TBR car than he has wins in an ILM car. So maybe something about TBR just makes NLS feel comfortable. Maybe we'll see a return to form over a full season. So very exciting on that end of things. I'm going to come over to DJ next because not only did we have wonderful graphics and bios for the NXT team and the truck team, but if you go back to the beginning of the silly season period, MMM was the first team to announce their full rosters, being that they are less a premier team next year. And for all that we've talked about MMM for the last couple of months, this is a scary team. This is a pretty scary team. We have DJ returning in NXT, Rowe moving up to NXT. I know there were some issues with his schedule that had him run trucks this past season, but you have DJ and Rowe in NXT. You have Null in NXT. You have Tony Flakes in NXT. That's a pretty stacked roster. And then you go to the truck team and you're retaining Trip. You're retaining Holy. You have EXO coming back to where he was a champion in the trucks. Typhon, who's been on fire as of late, and Trevi on the affiliate side of things. So, DJ, how is the morale over at MMM now after these roster announcements? When we've known the morale there has not been great throughout the whole season. How's the feeling over there?
I guess I'll kind of go back to when me and Ro first got traded to MMM, because I knew then that there was a lot of negativity around MMM, and I think probably rightfully so at the time, with all the trades and everything that was happening. But I remember telling Ro and Holy when I first joined the team. When I remember telling Holy, I was like, I don't plan on moving teams. I was like, I have no reason to leave or do anything. And I think, especially when the premier team got lost, I think morale took a bigger dip. But then I think morale started to go up as the season went on. A lot of us threw our support behind Holy after the premier team got lost. And I think that kind of brought us together as a team more so, because a lot of us threw our support behind him. And then you have Ro now being a co-owner of MMM now from that. And I think that also helped because it showed that Holy was, trying to build something. And I think the morale is extremely high at MMM now. I think we're all happy with the team and where it's going. I think wanted to put some respect, I guess, back on MMM's name after kind of the season of turmoil that MMM had this year, in this season of trading all of their people away and having the negativity of other team owners and the admins kind of looking down on MMM for what they had done.
Yeah, I would agree. You know, I'm still around those parts, and I've certainly noticed there's been a major shift in that team and in the group you have over there, and I am very excited about it. I think this is what MMM needs. I think this is something that the league needs after seeing the reactions from this past season. There's an opportunity both teams can be competing for the team championship, and there are championship drivers on both of those teams, which is incredibly exciting. So, you know, I wish
Then we
wish
brought
them the
a
best of luck over there. Yes.
we brought Yeti in too now.
Yes, Yeti is
So we have
also now that was a late announcement, but Yeti will
yeah,
also be on that NXT team.
Yeah, you have fun with
which
that.
I think
Bye.
there's a I think we all knew it's kind of like you know what you're getting with Yeti. You know what he is, you
Dude,
know.
the perfect word is chaotic but quick.
Yeah, like you kind of know what we
He's a
all
good dude,
it was
but he's
it was
explaining.
I will say we were all asked if we wanted Yeti on the team. So it wasn't like they did it behind our back. We all were asked up front, and we all said that we would like to have him on the team. So it was also the team being like all the people on the team said we would like to have him on the team if we could get him. So
And I don't know if this is like I don't know Yeti well enough to make this statement, but you know, maybe in an environment where he is very comfortable or in an environment where he knows that he can perform at his best, that he might unlock even more performance, or he might tamper down some of the aggressiveness because he doesn't want to have that team have an unbecoming reputation. Who knows? I think this is a new experience for everybody over there, Yeti included. That's what's very exciting to me about it. Now, something else that is really interesting, and I want to go to Hendrik for this. Um, ILM's NXT roster is also very, very stacked. You have Plan B at ILM, you have Iron Man at ILM, you have Banjo, T-Stone, and Polish re-signing over there. Polish, I know I asked you about the Premier side. I'll have Hendrik take the NXT side. What are your prospects for that group of drivers? Any surprises? And does this mean ILM might have two team championships next season?
I'm not surprised with the selections. I mean, most of them either were already on the ILM affiliate or they came from their secondary team or Cobra side of things at the moment, VRT. Definitely not shocked at that at all. Polish and Ironman, they are weekly contenders for victories. And right now, for Polish's case, a championship contender. T-Stone, another guy who's still active in the playoff hunt. He has done his duties. Definitely deserving of keeping his ride intact. Lost, also in the playoffs still. He is under the VRT blanket. Lost, I think, in my opinion, has definitely improved from the past season. And I wouldn't be shocked if he makes the Final Four. Just overall, I love the roster for ILM next season. It doesn't shock me with any of those names. I wouldn't be shocked if one of those five do bring home the championship for NXT next season. So we'll just see what happens.
Yep, absolutely. I think the full teams we have announced so far for NXT are certainly full of heavy hitters. When you look at the amount of talent that's spread across that series, that might be the tightest championship battle. If our live viewers want to direct their eyes to our live chat, Insolvable, our producer, has put up a poll question for the viewers of which series has the best championship battle, Premier, NXT, or Trucks. I know what my vote would be. We'll see that and check on that in a moment here. Um, Apart from those major announcements, we do have some from 715. I'm going to touch on those in a second, but Bren, I want to come over to you. Impact had the best announcement of his lineup for next season with a gif of Jim Carrey shrugging and shaking his head. So things were undecided there for a moment, but we do now have the truck lineup of Impact, Cowboy Tech, Leppy, AD and Blood Raven, with numbers to be announced. And Parker, who I believe is taking management of the HVM NXT team, has picked up Reagan from TBR, D-Main from TBR, who will be making a return to the NXT series, Baked as the affiliate from TBR, and Eswan, who is a recent addition, was a sub driver for TBR this last week and performed very, very well. And the fifth driver on that team would be none other than the former champion, Brent himself. So what are your thoughts on your new teammates and the prospects for HVM, both on the NXT and truck side, as I know you're very involved with the trucks over there on your team?
Yeah. My decision to obviously for truck wise, we have a good formula over there. I like Cowboy Tech. He's done his job. We're hoping he can make the playoffs. Unfortunately, Impact is not gonna be able to race during the playoffs, so he's backing out. So that's definitely gonna be interesting. Impact, obviously, I brought him back. He's deciding what series he's gonna run, but he's obviously a championship contender in my opinion for that series. Cowboy Tech always gonna be solid, reliable, runs every race, gonna be near the top 10 for points every season, potential playoff contender. ADROK took a big leap this year. He did a lot for us, practice wise and stuff. I think Rowe and them, at least MM side guys, have seen that this year. He's done a lot for us in the Alliance. And then Leppy, obviously, Impact and him go hand in hand. They're really good friends. Leppy's solid when he's run. He's going to be most likely one of our affiliates if we get to that. And then Blood Raven was a recommendation from D-Main. I don't know much about him, but I'm hoping for good things from him. Initially, I did have this is something that I he was overwhelmed, but initially I did have Bacon signed for next season, and then he signed with VRT. That was a bit awkward. We got everything worked out for that. But yeah, that was a lot awkward. So we figured that out, got that wrapped up, and then NXT wise, me going to NXT was essentially just a decision that I kind of made. It wasn't just like this week decision. I was contemplating it a few weeks ago when just kept having shitty luck, just getting wrecked, especially in stage 3. It's just something that I feel like for now, taking a step back, trying to get my confidence up, develop again, because I feel like right now Premiere isn't helping me develop. It's not fun for me. I haven't had as much fun as I wanted to this season. Obviously, I had a generational collapse, missing the playoffs by 1 point because I was not in the lead lap at Dega. That certainly hit the confidence there. But it was a lot of other factors. And then my teammates, I know D-Main from a league, White Line Xfinity Series. I ran with him in there. He's a chill guy. Iswan, I don't know much about him. Hoping for some good things. I think NXT is going to be very good. I think the NXT and truck side of our teams are going to be very good. And by the way, that emoji that he sent, that's for Premiere. It's gonna, yeah, that's for Premiere. We're trying to figure out some things. We'll get cooking in a little bit. Don't worry.
And I would say too, you're not the only team. There are some teams we're waiting for announcements from. You know, if I go back and look for a bit, there is the announcement that Cowboys is taking a majority of leadership over at GRM. We have not seen any word from the direction GRM will be going in. We haven't seen anything from VRT just yet as far as the direction they're going in. There's some announcements waiting to be made there. But just a brief overview on some of the remaining roster moves and such, like DJ had alluded to, Rowan the Boat, or Rowan the Goat, as some call him, will be taking co-ownership of MMM, which I think is very exciting, and we've got faith in him to do some exciting things over there with Holy and the team. In TBR Truck News, we're retaining some of our drivers. INF, who's been a longtime driver for TBR, as well as Warren Tires will be staying with us too. Tyreek did make the announcement with his truck team He'll be under the apprenticeship and guidance from Iron Man and Cobra. He's got Cypress over there. He's got Hendrick over there. He's got Lachero over there. Needs Carried and Pure Splash in the affiliate. All 4 very, very strong truck drivers.
Yep.
I think 3 of those 4 have won truck races this season. Hendrick, am I correct in that?
I know myself and Cypress has. I believe Lachero has, yes.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm not shocked at all. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if all 4 of us win a race next season, or at the very least 3 of us.
Yeah, and Needs
but
Carries
I
performed very strong.
Yeah, I definitely like how the truck team rounded out for next season. I feel like the back half is going to get a big upgrade.
And that's very exciting. I mean, I know Tyreek was broken up a bit, not having the NXT team come back for HLM, but this truck roster is very, very strong, and with guidance from the winningest driver and team owner of all time in the league, and Iron Man, and such a strong championship driver like Cobra. That team is going to be incredibly exciting. Along some other news, I know TBR talked about myself going back there with Andy. We've got K-Therms coming from the Premier Series to race along with us in NXT. But maybe the biggest news, and I don't know the last time this has happened on this podcast, but we have breaking news. We have breaking news right now that has not yet been announced, but I just received off the line. My Telegram machine was beeping away, and I can announce on behalf of 715 that their roster for next season will be Copper and Sales, which we know has re-signed to 715. They did announce that K4 would be coming over to join their premier team. I can confirm that T Millie will be in the affiliate car for 715, and their final driver will be Enraged Llamas. So that is the breaking news
Oh,
for the night.
wow.
715's premier team is filled and announced. Copper, Sales, K4, Llamas in the team cars, and Team Millie in the affiliate car. Anybody have any reactions they'd like to share to that?
Well, that just seems illegal. Should not be a
Yeah,
team.
that's not fair, bro.
It's not
Well,
fair
you
at
say
all.
that's illegal, but then look at ILM. ILM's got Whelp,
No,
Shox, Carrot,
that's
Tyreek,
Nah, it's
Cobra.
No, that's different. We're in a lower series. The prime of ODRL has a disgusting team like that.
I had heard rumors floating throughout that there was some talk about Llamas maybe moving down to NXT. I don't know how true those were. So I'm surprised that he moved over to 715 Premier.
They literally have 4 championship contenders and T Millie, who is like probably the best rising star we have in ODRL. So yeah, it's a good team.
Now, is there anything to be said that potentially the 1 and 2 teams in Premier happen to be from both of the league owners?
Makes you think.
No
Makes you
comment.
think.
Yeah, I mean,
Makes you think.
No comment.
I would like to keep my job, so I will not comment. But
yeah, we can't comment on that. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm
I don't
not
have a job to
commenting.
protect, but I mean, I'll say this.
I don't have anything.
It's, I mean, talent goes to the teams. That's all I'll say.
Networking.
That doesn't make sense.
Being
Networking.
No,
being the league owner gives you more sway. That is all I will say. Hey, that rhymed.
you're a poet, and you didn't even know it, Polish.
Thank you.
Just to check in on the 2 polls here, the championship battle poll has closed, and out of the 12 voters, NXT actually had the highest percentage for the best championship battle. Trucks in second, and Premier last. I think with the breaking news that might tell us why Premier is last in that vote. And on a secondary impromptu vote, should we invite Bren back? 73% say yes. How about that? Will Bren come back on the podcast? No, probably not.
I was one of them. I voted yes. I took Bren's job, but I still want him to come back.
I want him to come back too. I've been in Bren's corner for a while, but
I think we
let
could
us
replace
move
Mets.
for. What was that?
I think we could replace Mets with Brent.
We could. We could. Mets, you could take another week off. We'll have Bren come in the guest spot next week, and I will be fired.
Oh no, I meant permanent.
Moving to the picks for
Thanks,
this
guys.
week, we have. You're welcome, Bren. We have the Trucks finishing up their regular season at Talladega, and we have both NXT and Premier going to Iowa. Let's start with Premier first. Bren, what would your read be on Iowa this time around for Premier? Do you think we'll see anything different, anything more exciting, or is this going to be more of the same dominance from drivers earlier this season?
Last time we ran Iowa. Is he gonna be in the race again?
I don't know. You tell me.
Let me go look.
Who
won? Who are we referencing?
No, no. Someone saved fuel like during a stage. DJ. It was you,
Yeah,
DJ.
Stage 2, DJ
Yeah.
and LX had an incredible
Yeah,
stage.
DJ. Are you racing on Monday?
Yeah,
More than likely.
he can.
Okay. Well, that's gonna affect basically, I think unless we have a caution and unless DJ strategizes something with the fuel, I think it depends on when we get the cautions. Because last time we ran here, it was a fuel saver. That's how Tata was the best at fuel saving, and that's why he was able to beat Sterlo here. If we don't have a caution, I think it's a fun track. Bottom dominant. Lane, it's really lane dependent. Hitting the bottom correctly is gonna be your best friend. Other than that, it's a fun track. It's just passing is a little difficult long run, but I think it'll be fun. It's gonna spread out. It's gonna be a fun track. I can't wait. Default is better than setup. I will continue to be on that mark here.
Popular opinion, unpopular opinion, hot topic. Guess we will see. For this time round, since we have such a wonderful cast of guests with us, as well as Matt submitting his picks, I want to try to thin things out. Let's have everyone pick just one driver in the Premier Series that they think will win or have the best finish. I will say, for Premier, I had Lion Cone, so I do get the first pick this week. And I think with my one pick for a driver who may win or may surprise some folks, I don't unfortunately think it's going to be a repeat for Tata Head. Sterlo had a really good run. I know he's going to be on fire for the playoffs, but I think the driver to watch is going to be Sean. I'm going to pick Sean for life as my one driver for Premier Iowa. The next person up to pick, I am going to pass to Hendrick. Hendrick fan, who would be your one driver to watch for in Premier?
So for me, when it comes to Iowa, I feel like the one person that I would like to try and watch for, just based on the past results. I know there's been tracks that we've ran at in the past that are very similar. And if I am not mistaken, I believe we've already ran Iowa this season once. The one guy that has stood out to me has been Sales. And I say Sales because I look at all three stages. Sales won a stage. To go with it, he got fourth in another stage, and then he gets eighth. And on a points concept, that's really good to have when you begin to get into this point in the playoffs. And I think for him, that's going to be what gets him off to a very good start. So my guy this week is going to be Sales.
Copy that. I will jump in and interject. Mets did submit his picks into us. He did pick Copper and Llamas as a main and a dark horse pick. So I have got Sean for life. Hendrick fan has picked Sales. Mets has got Copper and Llamas as a dark horse. Let's go to DJ. DJ, who would be your one driver for Premier Iowa that you would pick to win or have the best finish?
I'm going to pick Dusty.
You bitch.
Oh yeah.
He had a great Iowa race the last time we were here. And he's good at the short track, so I'm going Dusty.
He's had a lot of strong performances recently. He sort of flew under the radar through the first half of the season, but after that absolute whooping that he put on Premier at Martinsville, he is not going to be staying under the radar for the rest of the season here. Let's go over to Polish. Polish, who would be your one pick for Premier this week?
Oh, now you picked me after Dustin got picked. Thanks, guy. I have a question. Who was that one guy last season? He had Iowa in the bag and then he choked. Who was that guy?
I mean, Sales wasn't here last season, so it's a Sales thing to do. But
No, I think it was Brent, was it not? Brent?
he was getting the shaky legs.
No, I'm not gonna.
Hey
pick Brent.
guys,
I think I picked Brent last Iowa and he disappointed me, so I don't think I'm gonna pick Brent
I
again.
finished top 10. That was my last top 10.
Top 10 does not give me
I know.
wins, okay.
Yeah.
I'll be boring. I'll pick Copper.
Mets picked Copper.
He picked
Yeah, you
Copper
can't
as
pick him.
He picked two different guys. Whatever.
Well, because we were doing it in the traditional way of like of a main driver and a dark horse, but there's so many people here, we'd end up picking half the roster.
Alright, Shocks then.
Shocks. That's a good pick. Good job, Polish. That one. That's going to be a winner.
Jeez, guys. Leave me with like one person.
Bren, which of your fellow drivers is going to win this week?
I'm actually looking at a different league for Iowa.
Oh,
Hold on a
jeez.
minute. Yep.
I even gave you the most
Gosh.
time. I gave you the most time to think about who you would pick too.
I know. Let's go. Did any of you guys pick Lined?
No.
No.
I'm picking Line Cone.
Going for the back-to-back. And he has had,
Yep.
he has had
Just to
some
point
very
out-
strong performances recently.
The last time I raced him at Iowa, I beat him.
Well, we will see.
I
It's going to
know.
be a very exciting race. I'm looking
I
forward
know what
to
type of race it was.
I like Iowa a lot. It has the ability to produce some fantastic racing, especially on the Premier side. So I will be very excited for Monday night to see you, Bren, and you, DJ, if you do end up getting in that race. I'm very excited to watch you guys Monday night. Highlight of my Monday nights. Let's take a step back down to NXT. NXT going back to Iowa, not having the Premier drivers down to Bushwhack should hopefully provide some good racing. Thank you for Insolvable. Just put his producer pick in. He's going to be picking Spartan for the Premier side of things, which is also an excellent choice.
Great pick.
For NXT, Metz actually had the winning pick because he had picked Iron Man to win. Checking out what he submitted to us, he has Iron Man again going back to back for NXT.
Wowzers.
How about that? Hey, I'm going to say I'm the trendsetter here because I picked him for Indianapolis, and that's when he started winning
Keep
picks for
spamming
us.
it.
So, yep, that's what it is. So, Metz has got Iron Man and Yoshi Racing as his dark horse to pick. Let's go in reverse order here. Bren, who would you pick as your one main driver for NXT Iowa?
Alrighty. None of these results from the first Iowa race matter besides seeing LX run top 5 all night. So I'm going with LX. He ran solid through the back half of that NXT race at Iowa. So I'm going him. LX.
Very, very solid pick. Very solid pick for sure. Who went before Bren?
I did.
DJ. Oh, Polish?
Yeah, I did.
Yes. Polish. Who is
Oh,
your
not-
pick? Who is your one sole pick? And this time, I'm not going to let you pick yourself because that did not get so.
Well, I'm not
go
going to
so
do
well
it
this
because
week.
the one time I picked myself, I had my worst race of the year, so wasn't going to do it anyways.
Yeah, it's you don't pick yourself on the podcast. It's number one rule.
Listen, I needed a morale booster, and I didn't
Well,
get it.
it works the opposite way.
Oh jeez. A lot of the guys that did good in this race have either been picked already or aren't even racing anymore. I see a lot of S1C and Lando in the top 10 and Hendrick. I'll go with Banjo. I'll go with Banjo.
Banjo, good pick.
Yeah. He needs a morale booster.
Yeah, definitely needs to bounce back, and he's very capable at this track. Man, I have to say, I'm kind of sad I'm picking last now in the host spot because I know who I want, and someone's gonna get him before me. I just know it. DJ, who is your pick from our fellow NXT drivers to win at Iowa?
You know, I guess I'm gonna go with the man that's on fire right now. I'll go Iron Man.
Matt's picked Iron Man. You
Matt's
can't
picked
dang
Iron Man.
it.
Picks.
Dang, I'm sorry.
It's your first time. It's okay. We'll forgive you.
You know what? I'll keep it in the MMM camp. I'll take Noel.
Very solid pick. Very solid pick. All right, Hendrick, it is down to you to not pick the driver that I want to pick. Don't think about it. Don't do it. Don't even imagine for a moment. Who is your pick for NXT Iowa?
Well, just like you did to me in fantasy, I'm just not gonna, I'm not gonna worry about that. I am going to go with actually my current teammate or a affiliate teammate from the ILM NXT camp. I'm going to go with Yeti.
Damn it!
Shit. Yeti was in the top 3 in one of the stages, and he, I believe, got top 5. I wouldn't be shocked if he repeats, if not does better this time around. So, Yeti's going to be my pick. The O'Reilly cars, at least for the Xfinity cars, Yeti tends to do really well, and we've seen a championship from him before in a different series. I think this is where we start to see the payoff.
Okay, I might have deserved that. Man, now I'm lost. I'm a lost puppy here. I don't know who I'm gonna pick
Rip.
because I'm so lost.
Just pick a top contender. Polish ran well last time here. He was top 10.
Since I am so lost now, since Hendrick took the driver that I wanted to pick, I think my only option is to pick lost my plan B. He is going to be my driver for Iowa. Nobody chuckled at that? No one thought that? I thought it was hilarious.
We got an entertaining crowd tonight. Sorry, buddy.
Corny unk jokes. That's what it is.
Sorry,
Corny unk jokes.
corny joke. That sounded very unk of you.
No, it's actually a pretty good joke. I understand it. It's not my
I knew
type
what
of
was
humor.
happening when it got said.
I know.
Thank you. I appreciate
You understood
it.
it.
Somebody
understood
followed
it.
me into that one. Moving on to our last race, or rather our first race of the weekend with trucks at Dega. This will be their last regular season race. There are folks that may be looking on their way in. Hendrick,
I'm stressing.
have you done a Super Speedway this season with the trucks? Have you been down for that?
Oh, are you talking to me?
No, the other Hendrick.
Yeah, fuck you. No, I have not done a restrictor plate with the trucks yet this season. But I will say that I have not done historically good with the trucks at restrictor plates. And there is also a chance that I may miss the Talladega race. So a lot of playoff implications, especially around that playoff bubble. I'll be interested to see how that plays out.
Well, I'll go with you first on this one. Whether you will or will not be around there, you've been racing around these drivers for the last couple of weeks. Who would be your one main pick for the trucks at Dega? And I will preface this with Met's picks are row and needs carried.
Okay. Wow. I'm going to go with my bread and butter here. I've said it on the rankings. I think everyone knows where this is going. I am going to pick Holy as my pick this week. He has not had a good second half of the regular season. He has been waiting for this race to come around. He is so confident about it. He said he was waiting for this race this Saturday. I think he's going to back it up this Saturday. This is the first time this season where he enters in a race not as the points leader. I think this will be a 1 week situation. I think he gains it back after Saturday night.
Very strong pick. We know he performs very well at the plate tracks, and especially with a lot of support around him, with his new team being announced or his new team members being announced. This could be a very, very big weekend for Holy. Let's go to Polish next. Polish, who would be your one truck driver to watch at Talladega?
Oh man. I would like to pick a guy who doesn't necessarily have the finishes to back it up, but I know he's always lurking around the front when it comes to these plate tracks. Some might say he's a very unlucky driver, and I think it's going to be a huge win for him to maybe boost him into the playoffs. I'm going to take Cowboy Tech here.
Hype for Cowboy Tech. Love that pick, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, he does enjoy the plate tracks. I'm fairly certain.
He's usually up there. He just never really gets the finishes he deserves, I feel.
Tends to have rotten luck, which is unfortunate. All he needs, and I think, it rings in my mind. Matt said this about somebody last season: is he just needs the right people around him. He needs the right friends around him to help get him up there, and anything is possible. So love that pick from Polish. Let's go to DJ next. DJ, I'm not sure your familiarity with the truck roster or who you've seen around, but taking a look at things, who would be your one pick for trucks at Dega?
Well, I was in here looking at the Talladega at the beginning of the season, and I remembered I was in that race, and that race was terrible. So I was like, let me not use that as a measuring stick. So I went to Daytona, and I looked at Daytona, and I guess didn't have a great finish, but another teammate. So I think he's going to have people working with him. I think Typhon will have a great race.
That's a very solid pick.
He's going to have teammates working with him to try to help him.
I agree, and like we said before, I think that MMM team now is very, very tightly woven together. All you need to do is get him in the front of the line, and you all push, and it will certainly happen. And I was in the Talladega truck race to begin the season, and I know at least the end of stage one, most of the trucks that were in the front of that three-wide push were MMM trucks. So
I will say I wasn't an MMA driver then, but I was up front, and then the first three wrecked each other.
I'm just talking about stage one. The end of the race, that was a whole other story.
Oh yeah, stage one. Well, they kept wrecking in that race. So,
Bren, I will go to you. Who would be your pick for trucks at Talladega?
Man, it's gonna be a stressful night. I gotta watch two of my drivers on the cut line, and I do think, obviously, someone picked Cowboy Tech, so it kind of makes my decision easier for me. I'm gonna go with a surprise winner. Very underrated. Had a top 5 at Daytona. I'm going with ADR. It's gonna be based off of if he can position himself well, but he's fighting for a playoff spot. He needs his best run, put his best foot forward. And I think it happens on Saturday night.
Very solid pick, and he has had really good races. He's been a little under the radar. Obviously, he's fighting for a playoff position, so it's another one of those things like we experienced at Talladega for NXT. I know being in that race, that was a priority for our teams, trying to get our drivers that were on the cut line into the playoffs. So a lot of these truck teams will be doing everything they can with strategy and to draft together to get those few drivers that are fighting for a position into the dance. Now, my pick. This might be an interesting one. I'm looking up and down the roster. I'm seeing some drivers who I know perform very well at super speedways. I'm seeing some drivers that have performed very well at all tracks, all season. But I'm not taking any of that into consideration. We all know at super speedways, anything can happen. A big wreck,
Oh,
a
no.
big wreck can take out
Oh no.
any cars. You guys act like you know it's coming. A big wreck could take out any cars. It could take out the entire lead pack. You could have a car somewhere back in the teens or the 20s from anywhere make their way up, get a good push, get help behind them, and win the race. And I think the end of the regular season, the second season of the Truck Series, there's a driver out there that really, really wants a win. Has wanted to win so badly, not just through this truck season, not just through last truck season, but before the trucks were even a series in ODRL. Has not won a race
Get
yet
along
in
with
this
it,
league.
bro.
Dummy, yeah. Dummy, yeah.
Say the name.
Yeah, I see where this is
Know who
going.
it is? Yep. He's trying to trying
Trying to save my job here, guys. But that is our podcast for the week. Thank you, DJ, for joining in
spit
on a
it
little
out.
guest role.
I said the name.
Say the
What?
name.
Say
You
the
didn't
name.
say the
You
name.
gotta say who it is.
I said New York Mets fan. I said it.
I didn't.
I rambled it.
didn't
You
know
guys
that.
were all too busy laughing over me. New York Mets fan for the win at Dega. Thank you, DJ, for joining us in the guest role. Bren, welcome back for an episode. It was a pleasure to have you around, and the chat does want you to return, so we can always work on that in the future here. As always, as we've had the last couple of weeks, Polish and Hedrick, thank you for joining us as well. And Insolvable, thanks for hanging around, putting together the great graphics and the polls for us through the live chat. We always have Overdriven on Thursday nights at 9:15. We will have DNF Diaries appearing tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Carrot and Cobra will make the announcement of who they will have around for their podcast on Fridays. If you have stuck around to watch, please hit the subscribe button, hit that bell so you can be notified of when we go live with our podcasts on the ODRL Podcast Network. Hit the like, share with your friends, talk amongst yourselves. Have a great week. Good luck this weekend for those that are fighting for playoff positions. And as our fearless leader, who will be returning next week, always says, we are out.
Little podcast ends later on tonight. There will be the pipeline rankings on regular show 48 on Twitch.
Yeah, go check out Hendrick Fan Switch.
I will say at 11 o'clock as well, after the official ending of this podcast, I will be streaming the pipeline rankings for those interested in those. Myself, Holy, and Sales will be doing that one in about 30 minutes. So if you want to catch that, go to regular show 48 on Twitch. I will be streaming that.